Fala pessoal, tudo bem? Aqui é o Andrei e eu lhes trago hoje o game Thronebreaker, o que promete ser o mais novo sucesso da CD Projekt Red. É um jogo que mistura um pouco de RPG com o seu card game Gwent. A jogabilidade lembra muito os primeiros The Witcher e também nada melhor do que você poder expandir o seu conhecimento dentro desse universo The Witcher para quem não leu os livros. Eu vou trazer um pedaço agora da nossa entrevista com o Mikilaj, que é o especialista em localização do game, e ele vai explicar um pouco melhor se esse game é um card game, se ele é um RPG. Eu espero que vocês gostem.
Well, it's definitely more of an RPG game. So it's a narrative experience. You have a full-blown story with choices, consequences, characters, relations between them, different game endings. So like 30-hour-long game. But from the gameplay perspective, it actually is empowered and supported by the mechanics of Gwent, the Witcher card game. But it is a single-player RPG game.
Agora eu irei mostrar um pouco do gameplay, né? Fora o que você já está vendo, nós temos as batalhas que são muito similares ao Gwent. Como já citado, nós temos uma historinha que conta o que está acontecendo naquele momento. E como num Pokémon, quando você entra dentro do matinho, nós vamos para batalhas temáticas, onde você tem a habilidade de pulá-las e você pode resolver de diversas formas. Às vezes essas batalhas são apenas puzzles, algo bem divertido e que muda bastante a gameplay. Contando com isso, eu perguntei para o Mikilaj o que traria de diferente do que nós já vimos em The Witcher e no Gwent.
Well, as said, the mechanics of Gwent is there, but since it's a single player game, we have had much more freedom in terms of designing the cards, designing the skills, because it doesn't have to be balanced the same way like a multiplayer game has to be. So we could do design totally crazy battles where you have to face for example one super strong card and you have like a whole army against one card, for example. And so basically the cards, for example, there might be some cards that appear in both games, but they have completely different skills. Also, sometimes it's like, for example, the same card has a different skill in a different battle, because in Thronebreaker you might have in a story that, for example, someone ambushes you, and it completely changes the mechanics, because, for example, I don't know, you can't do something, or you have access only to part of your cards. There are also puzzle battles, so you have to really think in which order you have to play the cards to actually win the condition that is needed for the battle to be won. So it's much more crazy than the Witcher card game in that respect, but it doesn't have to be balanced.
Enquanto se aproximavam de Brejúmido.
Qual a sua ordem, Vossa Majestade?
Perguntou o Reinato.
Como vocês viram na gameplay, nós nos deparamos com um conflito em uma cidade onde nós temos que tomar decisões. Decisões essas que Mikilaj já havia anunciado para nós que teríamos que fazer. Isso nos acarretará em algumas coisas boas ou muitas coisas ruins em um futuro próximo ou distante durante o jogo. Eu aproveitei também para falar com ele sobre esse modo novo de pular as batalhas caso a gente encontre alguma dificuldade. E também indaguei sobre a localização do game, como que ela é feita.
Sua Majestade, devemos atacar os grupos maiores, dividir a multidão.
Felizmente, Maeve conseguiu restaurar a...
Vocês são culpados.
Os habitantes de Brejúmido.
Yes, because we know that there are a lot of people, like maybe not a lot, but there are some people that actually love our games for the story. They like to experience the story, experience the characters, the dialogues, etc. But for example, they're not super keen on the gameplay itself, and that's completely okay. So for those players, we actually developed this second game mode. It's basically everything is the same. You enjoy the story the same way. You can play the battles if you want to, but for example, if you come across like a super frustrating, super hard battle, and you don't want to actually spend more time figuring out, okay, how to defeat this or that, you can skip it. But of course, you have a normal mode where you actually need to actually win the battles. And of course, there are some situations, especially like if you have a side quest, that you go and it turns out you're too weak to actually win this battle. So you have to go back, find more resources, expand your camp, build better troops, get a better tech, and then come back and complete a side quest.
Já quase finalizando a nossa entrevista, eu pergunto para o Mikilaj sobre a Miv. Por que a escolha dessa personagem que nunca havia sido citada nos games, apenas nos livros, e como que ela pode adicionar para a história de The Witcher?
Well, that's probably more of a question to Kuba, our story designer. But like I can probably say in his stead that what we always want to do is to tell nice stories, nice complex stories. And we thought that Miv is a character that's interesting because she's like this kind of a warrior queen. She's the only female ruler in the Northern Kingdoms. And she was actually described in the books. She has a very important scene in the books from a certain battle. And you know, we took this description, we took like this fragment of the books, and we actually, okay, so let's imagine what brought Miv to this point in her life, in the story. And then we actually, based on it, trying to create our own story. And she's a very, very interesting character. She's completely different than Geralt because she's a queen, she's a ruler. She has to be strong. She has to rule with an iron fist. On the other hand, she has to make very tough choices, sometimes very personal. So she's a really nice, conflicted, strong character, and she's very interesting. And I hope like the people will like her.
Nice. Talk about the competitive in Gwent. In Thronebreaker, you won some new cards, new engines, new strategy. What Thronebreaker can bring for the competitive mode?
The most important thing, I guess, is that there are 20 cards from Thronebreaker that can be played in the Gwent multiplayer game. So if you actually buy Thronebreaker, you will get those 20 premium cards for free to play in Gwent. But of course, for the players who are not playing Thronebreaker, they can still craft those cards, their normal versions, in Gwent using normal resources. So of course, these cards are more balanced to actually be workable, like be feasible for the multiplayer. But yeah, so basically with Thronebreaker, people will get access to those 20 additional cards in Gwent.
Okay, thank you, Mikilaj.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your attention and your time with us. É isso aí, pessoal. Espero que vocês tenham gostado e qualquer coisa comente aí embaixo que a gente resolve mais dívidas. Até a próxima. Tchau, tchau.
Oh, I will have it back.